is Matthew Christian Tarbell. I come from the Christian family of Oneida Tens. My Indian name is Dehoya Date. Bear Clan. Lived in Akwesasne most of my life. My family bloodlines are from Oneida of the Tens. Born in Syracuse and raised till about 8 or 9 in Syracuse. Then we moved to Akwi and been here ever since. And wasn't actually not too long ago, about 7 years ago, I actually lived in the Midwest in Nebraska for 9 years. So not really in Akwesasne most of my life. I did actually travel, actually experience life. I had 2 older kids out in Nebraska. They're part Ho Chunk and part Ogallala Sioux, or Hunk Papa Sioux, one of them. When I was in Nebraska, I actually had health problems before. I experienced high blood pressure and borderline diabetic, and so I like been on meds, took lisinopril, a couple other ones I don't even remember, but lisinopril was the one that stuck in my head just because how shitty it made me feel. And
so I've been following you on social media, and you've been talking a lot about powerlifting and about the ketogenic diet. And I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about your experiences about that, what it is, and what the results have been as you've been using this diet.
Well, it was a big eye opener because when I was living in Nebraska, I got very sick, and I had to change my life around because I started getting chest pains, bloody noses, dizziness, and they have a really nice, extravagant IHS hospital in Winnebago, Nebraska, where I used to live. And I went there and I found out I had a bunch of health problems. So, I want to say about November, December of this past year, I got all those symptoms back again, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear that I needed to lose weight. I didn't want to hear that I have this and that wrong with me. Plus, and then I'm the type that won't go to the hospital unless I'm dying. If I think I'm dying, I'm gonna go. That's the only time. And my mother's diabetic, have heart problems. It goes through my father's family, my mother's family. I lost uncles to health-related issues. I lost 2 uncles not too long ago. Within the last 5 years, I lost 2 uncles to health-related issues. And I lost best friends to diabetes and that similar health issues. So that was a wake-up call, and I have 3 kids, and I play football, and I wanted to continue playing football, and so I didn't want to go to the hospital, so I started going on Google and started looking up natural remedies and natural medicines I could take to help with my problems, because I kind of knew where I was at. I knew what I had, and I've already been diagnosed with an enlarged heart, and it wasn't because I was active and I played sports. It was because I was so big and so obese that my body was working twice, my heart was working double, just to run my body this big at the time I had. So I went on Google and I kept Googling, and I came across the ketogenic diet, and I found out how people were using it to cure brain cancer, tumors, and I read numbers of stories about people having tumors and brain cancer, and just lung cancer, any kind of cancer, and then I came across how they used it for kids with epilepsy and cerebral palsy, and it was and I just couldn't believe it. It seemed bogus. It was not right, and Tennessee. And then so I joined a couple online Facebook groups for the ketogenic diet. There's one called Keto Gains. Page is awesome. A lot of good motivation. Transformation Tuesdays, Flex Fridays. Seeing people go from 3, 4, 5, 600 pounds, and you know, they're prepping for bodybuilding, or you know, whatever, you know, or just want to be healthy. So I had a couple groups like that, and then I found a couple, and then I am a part of a online Facebook group I've been part of for a while. It's called Mind and Body. It's a private group and good people from all over. There's, you know, the guy that runs it, he's from Ohio, and he's actually competing in a bodybuilding, and pretty soon, in the next week or so, or even sooner, he's doing a physique bodybuilding, and there's a woman in there that did bodybuilding, so they've been really, really supportive of me and my journey, and then I found out there was a couple people in there that were doing keto, so I picked at their brain and asked them thousands and thousands of questions, and they were cool with it, and one day we were at the grocery store with my family, and I was feeling like shit, you know, dizzy, fighting bloody noses. My wife didn't even know about a lot of these problems I have, and to me, it was my problem. It wasn't anybody else's. So I came across a big, giant 25-pound slab of bottom round steaks, and I was asking hundreds and hundreds of questions. What do I eat? What do I do? And so it was like, I went with that new year, new me type of attitude. I know a lot of people would just say, "Oh, that's bullshit. Don't follow that. You know, don't do that. You know, you're gonna fail if you do it like that." And it was New Year's Day. We were in the grocery store, and you know, it was just a normal day for us. You know, no special holiday. And I found this 25-pound slab of beef for $33. So I grabbed it and put it in a grocery cart. And my wife said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going keto." And from that day, I never looked back. And I went in there and I got the big giant slab of beef, and the butcher's like, "You want me to butcher it up for you?" I said, "No, I'll take it home. I'll do it myself." And got a bunch of broccoli, green beans, butter, and cheese. You know, I did it basic in the beginning, and you know, it took it was a hard road, and it took a lot, but it can be done. And like, I had to grab my book, but in my first 100 days, I lost 74 pounds, 18.9% body fat, and gained 20 pounds of muscle. And that was just basic workouts. It was mainly powerlifting affiliated. I worked on the big three, and I just ate. But in my first 6 weeks of keto, I did lazy keto. There's all different styles of keto. There's keto cycle, where you do 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you feel comfortable with on keto, and then you have a cheat weekend where you aim for 300 to 400 to 500 grams of carbs. Then you get back on track, and that was just like to reset your body. But I'm like, I was 432 pounds, and I was like, my health is an issue, and I can't afford a carb day. I can't afford a refeed day. So I was strict, but I wasn't. And there's another way called lazy keto, where you just eat keto friendly foods, and you don't track. You just keep in the so much percentage of fats and so much percentage of proteins, and keep your carbs under 20, and that's what I did. And in the keto diet, they tell you that they want you to keep your calorie intake at 75%, or 70%, or, you know, there's no right or wrong way. You'll see a lot of that, people arguing, "Oh, you're not doing keto right," but whatever works for you. And like, so you would keep your calorie percentage, which was your energy, around 70%, and then your protein about 20, depending on if you were doing 75 or 20. 75, then it would be 25, then 5% carbs. So that was the basic.
Can you just explain Can you just explain something about the keto diet for people who aren't familiar with it? I know a little bit about it, but as I understand it, it's eating foods that have a lot of fat in it, or that are meat based, and then your body metabolizes it differently than if you're eating kind of carbs that turn into sugar real quick.
Yeah. Well, when the keto diet is here's a little like what I've learned on it. It was when you're on a Western diet where your diet is half high portion of carbs, high portion of protein, and a little bit of fats. Your body's using carbs, which goes into your body, turns into insulin for energy, and 1 gram of carb turns into 4 calories of energy, and 1 gram of fat turns into 9 calories of energy. So all you're doing is you're eliminating the carbs, and you're increasing your fats, and your body's running off of fats. And what you do is you just switch your diet around. You start eating chicken thighs with the skin if you want the skin, with the bone. You can boneless, skinless chicken thighs, drumsticks, like bottom round steaks, or even like fattier steaks. I'm not meaning like we'll eat the big fat gristle around the edge, and like just fattier meats, like the bottom round, like the cheaper steaks. You don't gotta go out and buy a big expensive steak. You just go buy all the cheaper steaks, and as long as it has because if you were to eat a piece of chicken breast, it's like 22 grams of protein and 1.5 grams of fat. Like you can't just, you would have to put fats on it to make it benefit you. So that's where you want the fattier meats. A lot of hamburger. I ate tons and tons of hamburger. I know they say red meat's not good for you, but I lost 100 pounds, so it can't be all that bad for you. And like 80-20 it's like the perfect, because it's got the equal balance of protein and fat, no carbs. It's got the equal balance of protein and fat. So like right now I track like crazy. I use the app on MyFitnessPal, and I track like crazy, and I actually got a log. I'll actually show you. Like, I hold myself accountable every day when I eat. Like, this is my log. I start off with my week, how many weeks of keto, all my information, body fat and everything, and then what are my minimum amount to eat, what my maximum amount to eat, and then my weigh-ins and how much I ate, protein, carbs, and that's what I do. I hold myself accountable. So I track like crazy. So, and then, but you want the fattier meats. You don't wanna do the chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast, because it's so high in fat. You're gonna max out on your proteins before you max out on your fats. And if you don't put enough fats in, you start getting headaches, dizziness, and flu-like symptoms. They call it the keto flu. And it's because you're not increasing your fat intake. Your body, when you're on this diet, you put fats in your body, and it's just like when you're on a regular Western diet where you put carbs in your body. Your carbs go in your body, goes to your liver, and it produces glucose, which your body uses for energy. Then your body pumps out insulin to regulate that glucose. And so when you're on a ketogenic diet, you're putting fat in your body, and your fat goes into your liver, and your liver pumps out what is called ketones, which your body is running on, and that's what your energy level. And it's a lot cleaner energy source. It's like your house is running on regular electricity, then you switch it over to solar, all the renewable energy. It's a cleaner energy source, and you find everything's lasts longer, and it comes right down to everything like that.
So just on the question of the traditional diets here, like, because there's before the contact or there's been a shift that indigenous people have gone from eating their traditional foods to eating the kind of the foods of Western civilization, and that's there's been a correlation to all kind, diabetes and cancer and massive, people getting sick from being overweight. Whereas you have before that, you have a lot of like the traditional foods that are being eaten are game meats, or they're high in fat. They seem to have a lot of these keto characteristics, and there's also a kind of intermittent fasting that is common in your cultures. So can you talk a bit about, like, do you think that the impact of like the white sugar and the white flour and these things have, talk a bit about that effect on your people's health and this traditional diet? Because it is maybe, it sounds like keto is all new, but when you're describing it, it sounds like something that your people have been doing for a long time.
Well, the first keto book was published in the 1900s. It's been around since the caveman days. It's just people are just not realizing it now. Like I just realized, I'm all new to this. I'm still learning, and I know a lot, but I'm still learning a lot. But it all comes down to, like, the sugars, the flour, and all that stuff. That's not ours. It's not natural. It's like like an aquasustine alone. Like, I would love to find the diabetes rate, the heart disease rate, the obesity rate. I would just love to find those numbers out, just to know. Because if anybody knows aquasustine, you drive down 37, you drive, anywhere's on the res, you got a pizza shop. Now you got Tim Hortons. Now you got Dunkin' Donuts. Now you got a Starbucks and a casino. There's more people hustling chip stand food than there actually is people trying to heal this reservation, trying to heal the people here. And there's 2 bars, and it all comes down to everybody wants, everybody's craving sugar, everybody's hyped up on sugar. Then you even got, even comes down to natural, like even people think they're eating healthy and they're going to eat a bunch of fruits and stuff. Yeah, but there's still natural sugars in there. It's still going to raise your insulin levels. It's still going to make you feel like crap. It's going to give you a burst of energy. But once your body uses it, you're going to crash. You're going to crash just like you drank an energy drink. That's what it is. It's we need to get back to planting and growing and having our own little personal farmers markets on the territories, all through the Confederacy, all through the Indian country, because I can just imagine the statistics here of the sugars and we become a product of our environment. It's like the tribe wants to make programs to help with diabetes, help with obesity, and help with this and help with that. But they're right there handing out business licenses for chip stands, for bars, and for little fast food places. And it's like, when are we gonna wake up and stop making programs to help fight these and start making a community that is, healing itself? And that's what it is sugar's the biggest thing. Because if you were to go on YouTube and look up a video of the electrons in your brain, and the electrons, as everybody has in their body, how do you think when you touch a smartphone, how it works? Or when you're going to Walmart or going to a store and you go to pay with a debit card and you push the buttons? It's because we all have electricity in our body. And then if you were to look up a video on YouTube, and then they do the electrons in the brain, and they put a CAT scan in, and then they show them pictures of, what do you think when you see this? And it shows them thinking. And then it shows a CAT scan going on, and it shows lightning bolts from one side to the other. And it's going back and forth, and it actually looks like a night sky on a while a thunderstorm's going on. And then they took one where this guy downed a can of Pepsi, and they did it to him, and his freaking brain was going all nuts. And then they took another guy that did a line of coke. His brain was going all nuts. And then they put them side by side, and they showed that coke and sugar are no different. They're both drugs. They're both addictive, and they both kill. And that's what's going on, is that we are so far away from our natural diet. We are so far away from our everything, creation, connection, and And that's what it is that, you know, and we are so quick, we got so lazy that it's cheaper to go through a McDonald's drive-through, get a bunch of burgers and fries and chicken nuggets and a bunch of soda and just call it good. And it's not. It's that became the norm. We're going in a grocery store, going to buy a pound of hamburger or we'll buy some chicken thighs or, you know, and some zucchini and, you know, or spinach or broccoli or green beans and make a meal at home. You know, you can have your burger at home. It's just the way you make and the way you eat it. And that's what it comes down to, is that we need to get back to that. And flour, all that is poison. It was never for us. And, you know, I just had a big discussion on Facebook last week. Somebody had a bumper sticker, said "Fried bread kills," and I shared it, and I said, yeah, it does. I'm a prime example. I haven't had bread. I'm going on 19 weeks tomorrow. I haven't had bread, pasta, rice, sugar in like 19 weeks. And I made a post about it, and I had a bunch of people argue. Like, I had one guy try to argue with me about it. And it's like, no, you can't. It's like, we were put on reservations. When we were first put on reservations, they gave us flour and oil, hoping that we would die and that we made fried bread out of it. Now people are going around calling it a traditional food. When the hell did fried bread become a traditional food? When did we ever have fried bread before 1491? When? Mm-hmm. Like, we never had flour. We never had that kind of grain. The only grain we did have was corn. And we had cornbread, which is way different from what people think is Johnny cake or whatever. But we never had sugar. We have never had flours. And that's what's killing us. And that's what a lot of people need to wake up and realize. That's what is killing us.
So how do you deal with there's like a kind of withdrawal effect when you're, like you crave sugar, right? Like, for those of us that have that in our diet, it's, it's something like you'll want it. You'll want something sweet. Your body's feeling it. And it is like it feels like an addiction. So how did you break out of it, or how do you stop, you're passing by the, I don't know, like the Tim Hortons or whatever, or you're like, whoa, wouldn't I just like a little shot of sugar? Wouldn't that make me feel better? How, like, do you, is there a way to do that? Is it just mental toughness or what?
They tell you in the beginning, like, I didn't believe it. Like, I didn't believe it one bit. Like, they tell you in the beginning, like, once you increase your fat levels and you become fat adapted, and that you no longer crave carbs, you no longer crave sugar, and some people it does work, and some people it doesn't work. For me, it did work, because like in the beginning, when I was still in my learning stages, a couple weeks in, like, I was craving, like, my kids were drinking orange juice, 100% orange juice, and I was craving it so bad, and I seen it there, and it's like, cup, this much in the cup won't kill me, won't hurt me, and I took a drink, and it was the worst pain ever. My stomach cramped. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like I was, it was the worst pain in the world. Like, it felt like I laid on the floor and somebody came and booted me in the stomach with a steel-toe boot. And it was the most, it's hard to explain the pain. And it was like, and finally, after an hour and a half, I went away, and I told myself, like, was it worth it? Like, was that, 2 ounces, 3 ounces of orange juice worth it? Like, I got a taste of it, I got it, and everything. And for me, in the beginning, it's all learning stages. If you're going to take this lifestyle up, and, I don't call it a diet. I don't call it a diet one bit. For me, it's a lifestyle, because I really turned my life around with it. I believe in this, and I will be continuing to follow this lifestyle even once I reach my goals, and because of how good I feel and everything. So, but if you're gonna start this lifestyle, it's all a growing. There's no right, there's no wrong way. Like, if you fall off track, you can't sit there and beat yourself up, and because you're not gonna get anywhere. You're in a healing stage. How can you heal when you're beating yourself up? And so, like, for me, it took a couple of times of, I just need it. I just need a little taste, and needed to get it out of my system. And once I did it, it was like I got sick, stomach cramps, and it wasn't. And then I was like, man, this ain't worth it no more. And once you once you feel like that, once you experience that, like I can go to a grocery store and see all the candy bars, and I don't even look at them. And it's not because I'm trying to be like, oh, blinders, blinders, blinders. No, it's like if I look at that, my stomach starts turning, and I feel like I'm gonna throw up, and I will literally like start dry heaving. Like even like when I go grocery shopping, and you know how they got all the bakery and they got all the cakes and cupcakes. My kids go nuts over like want them, and it's like, no, let's go, and it's like I can't even look at them because I get sick, and my stomach starts turning. Like even right now, just thinking about it, it's making my stomach go nuts, and it's all a learning stage because they tell you in the keto, like when I was learning everything about keto and learning, reading and watching crazy videos on YouTube, because I told myself it's either do this or having to take a bunch of pills the rest of my life. And it was like, I'm only 30 years old and I got kids, and that's like, I don't want to be popping pills and feeling like crap the rest of my life. And I see what diabetes does firsthand to people on this territory. I seen, my best friends, good friends, how bad a shape they are in now just because of diabetes. I've lost friends to diabetes, and they just went smarting up. And so I had all of that going through my head. So like when I was in the learning stage, just trying to figure out how you get rid of that sugar craving, really,
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not that bad now because like if you go in the grocery store, there's a brand called Stir, and they make the little squeeze flavor shots, and it's sweetened by stevia, and I actually like it better than Kool-Aid. Like every now and then I'll have some of that. I buy it for my kids because I don't want my kids drinking high sugar Kool-Aid. I would rather have them drink stevia, and it's not organic, non-GMO stevia in there. So I would rather have them drinking that. So
tell me about how your kids have reacted, and what your family thinks of the progress you've made, but also of the changes that to your diet.
Just
like, are they following you to do similar stuff, or are they do they like the kind of food, or do they think it's weird, or like how are they?
Well, it's not that bad because like the food wise, like last night I just made tacos, and instead of having a tortilla shell, it was made out of cheese. And you literally put a pan on the stove and you put cheese in there and you melt it till it starts turning brown. And you flip it, and then you let the other side melt and start turning brown, and then you hang it over a spoon, hanging across a pot, so it gets like the tortilla, like the taco shell shape. My kids ate it; they loved it. It's just the little things here and there. They still want their French fries. They still want their chicken nuggets. And they're kids. They're gonna. They're under 10 years old, and so some of the stuff they'll eat. And I make these things called fat bombs. It's just a high fat little snack. Like if you're like, say for me, I'm do a lot of powerlifting, and fat's my energy. So like instead of taking pre-workouts, or if I come back and I'm feeling real drained and I need a quick shot of energy, I make these things called fat bombs, and they have Kerrygold butter, grass-fed butter. They have coconut oil on them, and I made these peanut butter chocolate ones, and it has the bottom part is peanut butter with coconut oil and butter and melted together. Put it in the freezer for a little bit, let it harden up. Then there's a top layer with cocoa powder, stevia, and coconut oil and more butter. And then it sounds like a lot of fats. It sounds like your cholesterol is going through the roof, but you put them all in a big giant cupcake tin, and you're only getting a little bit of the fats. It's probably equals out to 10 grams of fats, maybe even less. And like my kids will go nuts over them. Like I gotta hide them in the freezer because if they knew where they're at, they wouldn't be eating them. And they see it as chocolate, they see it as coconut. They don't see the coconut oil and the fat. And then but I am slowly getting them out of the relying on carbs and eating junk food. But it's kind of hard too, because when they're in the school systems here, and the school systems follow that the BS of the food pyramid we were taught when we were in school. Like, this is how much you're supposed to eat. So no matter how much I do it at home, they're still gonna be getting bread out of school. They're still gonna be getting pasta. Still be gonna get rice. But at least I have them there in the morning, there in the night, the weekends. So at least I can have them eating properly at those times, or unless I send them to school with lunches, and and I can't always rely on them not going to eat their lunches and eat what the school's having. So, I'm not. It's hard to do with the kids, meaning that when school time is that they're going to still get exposed to that Western diet, but in the summertime, no. I plan on going full out keto with my family. Matter of fact, my wife joined me on my journey. She joined me 8 weeks ago, and she's already down 18, 19 pounds. I think almost 20 now. And she joined me, and it was like for her in the beginning, it was all test phase. I would make something. Can I try something? Or can you make it extra for me? So I'd be making food, and she would try certain foods, and then it was like, and then she got asked to be in her sister's wedding. Well, her sister's wedding was coming up, and then she was already in keto, and she was getting fat adapted and everything, and then she was about a couple weeks in, and then she got asked to be in her sister's wedding as a bridesmaid, and then bam, she just like took off with it and just went on her own direction, and she's killing it. I think she's 18, I think 19 and a half or 20 pounds right now, and for one, I'm not calling my wife lazy or not. She doesn't go to the gym. We do some walking at the local civic center because they got a lap on her, but she just eats. So you can literally stay at home, watch your kids, be with your kids, have a busy lifestyle, or work a crazy hour job. As long as you eat the right food, it'll work. Like, my wife's not hitting the gym at all. I'm not saying that she needs to hit the gym. I'm just saying that there's people out there that have done this diet and are proud to say that, oh, I've never been in the gym once. I lost 100, 150, 175 pounds easily. And, and it can be done. You can even sit here and do home workouts like she does every now and I think she does 3 times a week. She started doing home workouts, and it's just like basic jumping jacks, sit-ups, crunches, and it can be done, and that's what we need to get back to.
All right, listen, we're gonna have to wrap it up because we're getting we're over half an hour already. But there's a lot of things you said that make me want to ask you a lot of follow-up questions. But is there any particular resources that you've been able to find that are geared towards Native people and the keto diet, and explaining that or framing it in your cultural framework?
No, that was my biggest thing. Like, there's tons and tons of people on YouTube that are awesome, that explain keto, that do grocery hauls, like $50 grocery hauls for the week, showing you how to buy keto on cheap. There's a bodybuilder I follow. His name is Jason Whitrock. He did a 4,000 calorie diet for 21 days, and he actually lost weight, but he was all keto style, 4,000 calories. But there's nothing on there for us. There's nothing Ungwahuma related. There's nothing like living life on a res. Having to get up and go to work a BS job in some people's instance, or working some crazy hours, and like when I first did keto, I was working a midnight shift, and I made it happen. I made it work. I didn't let my work become a excuse. I did it, but for anything traditional related, culture related, Ungwahuma related, no, there's nothing. if there is something, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't came across it yet. I know there's other natives out there doing keto. There's actually a woman that follows me, and I follow her and she just started keto, and I've been helping her out, giving her pointers here and there, and and she'll see my food I post on Instagram, and she'll ask me about it, and and ask me, what's this, how you make it, stuff like that, but there's nothing out there on YouTube, websites, there's not even any information on it, like on a native fitness pages or anything. I have a couple native fitness pages, and I don't see there's a couple people, like, now I noticed that are doing keto, but there's nobody open. Like, for me to be open, like, when I became open on Instagram, I became open because I was hunting a sponsorship, but now it's like, I don't care about the sponsorship. I just wanna share my journey and show other Ungwahue how easy it is, especially when I'm living on a depressing res life, and just every day-to-day res life, being with your family, having kids, working a job, and still having time to prep food and eat your food and go to the gym, and just like even now, like I'm gonna be hitting my first powerlifting meet in October 8th in Kingston, Ontario, and the woman and a couple guys I train with at the gym tell me, like, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep doing this, like, they're pushing me more and more, and they're like, there's no natives in this. You've never seen any natives powerlifting in this league over here, in this federation, or however they go by. And it says, you need to be out there, you need to show that you're a native, you need to get, they're like, you need to get more of your people over here. And, like, they like it that I lift, they like it that I'm actually giving 100%, and I'm setting goals. Like, I set a goal for 100 pounds, and I lost 100 pounds in 131 days. Now my new goal is to lose 50 more pounds by October 8th, so I can hit my first powerlifting meet. And they're 100% supportive about it. So it's not like and they want to see more Ungwahue in the sport, and so. And that's what my goal is now, is to start a YouTube video blog so I can put it out there about keto and being on the res and mixing in your traditional lifestyle and how keto is close to our traditional lifestyle eating wise, and talk about intermittent fasting and talk about meditating and getting in with our all that. Because it comes down, because we need to start getting our connection with creation, and that's what it is. Sugar is blocking our third eye. Sugar and carbs is making us, it's blinding us from creation. We need that connection back, and that's my goal. And once you came, asked me for this interview, I jumped right on it, because I want to put my story out there. I want to put everything out there, and I want to get my vlog rolling. I'm actually looking at a camera right now and a couple of different things, and I want to do everyday res life and how you can be on the res, have a family. I have 3 kids that live with me, and I have 2 kids that live out of state, and and everybody knows res drama, how depressing it can get, and how the low economy and how suffering paycheck to paycheck can really put a damper on everything. But and I want to show people, motivate people how to look past that and hit your goals, and and don't let that subject you, or don't let that hold you back or be your excuse, because I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and I got a couple projects going in I'm working on, and I got my Instagram, and I'm just doing me, and then I got my powerlifting meet, and I play semi-pro football. So so it's like, it can be done. Like, don't give me an excuse.
Yeah.
Even if you don't do none of that, you can still do this diet. You can still lose weight. It's just that you gotta have it. And that's what my goal is to motivate people, even if you sit at home and, you know, don't want to exercise, or you're scared to go to the gym, or you don't want, oh, look at this fat person in the gym. You don't want to be that, you know, you don't want that. You know, it can be done.
Well, it's been an inspiration to follow you on social media and see the progress you've made, and thank you very much for this this interview, and we'll continue following you, and I hope, you know, look forward to seeing more from you. And I'm hoping you could send us also some links about some of the sites that you go to, and some of your all the links of the stuff that you think is important out there that you're following. So we'll check in with you in a few weeks' time as well.
All right. For anybody interested in the keto diet, I'll give you one site that I can think of right off the top of my head that helped me out a lot. It's called Keto Gains. One word. KETOGAINS.com. They have in the top, there's a 3 little lines. Click on it. They have a keto calculator. It can calculate your macros. They got a keto. What is keto? It tells you what is keto. They tell you about ketosis. Talk about ketones, and they talk about all the foods you can eat. And then the foods are simple: green leafy vegetables. You know. Asparagus, spinach, broccoli, zucchini, anything low carb, high in potassium, high in fiber, because because you do need to go to the bathroom. And when I found out, when I first started this diet, you get bound up really easily if you don't eat the proper vegetables. And meat wise, you know, fatty meats. You can eat pork chops, you can eat country style ribs, you can eat the fatty steaks, hamburgers, chicken thighs. And then this diet is awesome because you can have blue cheese dressing, you can have Italian dressing, you can have ranch, you can have Caesar, you can have mayonnaise, you know, you can have mustard, you can have, if you can find a low sugar ketchup, you can eat low sugar ketchup, but you got to know your portion sizes. You can have hot sauce, you can have there's keto barbecue sauce on YouTube. I make it all the time. You know, you don't have to eat plain food. That's what I like. You can get a lot of spices, and all you gotta look at is the sugar content and the carb content. They're both low. You're awesome. And your goal is to keep your carbs under 20. You know, there's a good guy on YouTube called Goody Beats, and he has awesome content. He does a lot of fasting videos, he does grocery hauls, he does eating every day, he even does a fast food one where he shows how if you have a busy lifestyle one day and you're working and you gotta stop at a fast food spot, how you eat keto in a fast food. Like sometimes I do it. I'm not perfect. Like I'll go to the, like for one, I'll go to Cornwall and I'll have Harvey's, and I ask them with no bun. No questions asked. They'll give me a burger, no bun. You know, and so it can be done. And you know, like those are the two main people. There's another one, Jason Whitrock. He's a bodybuilder sponsored through EAS, and I followed him. He was awesome, and he puts out awesome content. And you know, it's just going out there and search. And keto is easy. Don't let nobody tell you. Like I've had a lot of people tell me, you can't do powerlifting, you can't lift heavy weights, and you can't do this, you can't do that on keto, and you just got to do light bodybuilding style workouts, or you can't do this, or your energy, or don't let anybody tell you different. I mean, look, I'm got a powerlift in me. I'm gonna be doing my whole road on keto, and I'm doing my actual meat I'm gonna be in ketosis in my meat. That's what my biggest thing is. To show people, to show other people, and show Unguahua that you can live this lifestyle and you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Don't be afraid to. There's a lot of support out there, you know, and most of my support is not Unguahua, and you know, and I don't look down on it, and you know, I don't care. You know, I got support. You know, I have. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at ketogenic_Oneida, and you know, like I put food, different topics about sugar, you know, my lifting videos. You know, if you want to see it, I'm willing to share recipes, anything. You got any kind of questions? My plan is out. I just want to help anybody willing to help themselves. I'm not greedy with my information. I'm not going to tell you to go look on Facebook, or on YouTube or Google. If you have any questions, you know, I'll be willing to help you, because you know, all I want to see is healthier people, especially healthier Ungwe on this territory, because you know we're all dying off, and it's sad to see and how many people are, you know, don't even care. They're gonna care when they're in their deathbed and they're down. You know, there's no turning back. You're already, you know, 1 foot in the grave, and you know can't do nothing else.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much, and we'll look forward to following up with you soon. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care.
All right, hold on.
All right, hold on.